Number 1. Determine your hourly rate. Determining your hourly rate involves calculating the amount of money you want to make in a year and dividing it by the number of hours you plan to work. This calculation gives you a baseline hourly rate that you can use as a starting point when setting your fees. To determine your hourly rate, you can follow these steps. Decide how much money you want to make in a year. This could be your target salary or the amount of money you need to cover your expenses and make a profit. Determine how many hours you plan to work in a year. This could be the number of hours you plan to work per week multiplied by the number of weeks you plan to work in a year. Divide your target income by the number of hours you plan to work. This will give you your baseline hourly rate. For example, if you want to make $60,000 per year and plan to work 40 hours per week for 50 weeks per year, your hourly rate would be $30 per hour, $60,000 per 2,000 hours. It's important to note that this calculation only gives you a starting point for setting your fees. You may need to adjust your hourly rate based on factors such as your skills and expertise, industry standards, overhead costs, and the value of your time. Number 2. Consider your skills and expertise. When determining your hourly rate, it's important to consider your skills and expertise. Your skills and expertise refer to the specialized knowledge and abilities you have that are relevant to your work. If you have unique or specialized skills, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate than someone who has less experience or expertise. For example, if you are a software developer with extensive knowledge of a specific programming language, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate than a developer who has less experience with that language. Similarly, if you are a lawyer with expertise in a particular area of law, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate than a general practitioner. When considering your skills and expertise, it's important to be honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses. You should also research what other professionals in your field are charging for their time, to ensure that your hourly rate is competitive. Ultimately, by taking your skills and expertise into account, you can set an hourly rate that accurately reflects the value of your time and expertise. Number 3. Research industry standards. Researching industry standards is an important step when setting your hourly rate. This involves researching what other professionals in your field are charging for their time. By doing so, you can get a sense of what the market rate is for your services and ensure that your fees are competitive. When researching industry standards, you can start by looking at job postings, salary surveys, and other resources that provide information on the average salary or hourly rate for professionals in your field. You can also ask colleagues or mentors for advice on what they charge for similar services. It's important to consider factors such as your location, level of experience, and the type of services you offer when researching industry standards. For example, the market rate for a graphic designer in New York City may be higher than the market rate for a graphic designer in a smaller city. Keep in mind that industry standards are not set in stone, and you may need to adjust your fees based on your unique circumstances. However, researching industry standards can give you a good starting point when setting your hourly rate and help you ensure that your fees are reasonable and competitive. Number 4. Factor in overhead costs. When determining your hourly rate, it's important to factor in your overhead costs. Overhead costs are the expenses you incur in order to operate your business or provide your services, but are not directly related to the services you provide. Some examples of overhead costs include office rent, equipment, utilities, insurance, and taxes. To factor in overhead costs, you can start by listing all the expenses you incur to run your business. Then, calculate the total cost of these expenses and divide it by the number of hours you plan to work. This will give you the amount of overhead cost that you need to add to your hourly rate in order to cover these expenses. For example, if your overhead costs are $20,000 per year and you plan to work 2,000 hours per year, you would need to add $10 per hour to your hourly rate, $20,000 per 2,000 hours. This ensures that you are covering your overhead costs while also making a profit. It's important to note that overhead costs can vary depending on your business model and the type of services you offer. For example, if you work from home, your office rent may be lower than if you rent a commercial space. By factoring in your overhead costs, you can ensure that you are setting an hourly rate that is sustainable and profitable for your business. Number 5. Evaluate the value of your time. Evaluating the value of your time is an important consideration when setting your hourly rate. It involves determining the worth of your time and the impact it has on your business and clients. To evaluate the value of your time, you can start by considering the following factors. Your skills and expertise. As mentioned earlier, your skills and expertise can have a significant impact on the value of your time. If you have specialized knowledge or abilities, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate. The impact of your work on your clients. If your work has a significant impact on your clients' businesses or lives, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate. For example, a financial advisor who helps clients make significant investments may be able to charge a higher hourly rate than someone who provides more basic financial advice. Your level of demand. If you have a high level of demand for your services, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate. This is because clients are willing to pay more for your services in order to work with you. Your time commitment. If your work requires a significant time commitment or involves working outside of normal business hours, you may be able to charge a higher hourly rate to compensate for the additional time and effort required. By evaluating the value of your time, you can ensure that you are setting an hourly rate that is fair and reflective of the impact your work has on your clients and your business. Thanks for watching.